Welcome to Rich in Blockchain. Okay, today is the 16th of September 2022. Hope you guys are all going well. So we've had a pretty busy last 24 hours since I last did the update anyway. BTC did break down, as you can see here from this descending triangle that I drew yesterday. I don't know if it broke down at that point. Going back, have a look. Yeah, and I broke down yesterday in the afternoon. So yesterday when we had to look at the chart, it's pretty much just range bound. But then yes, it has broken through. Right now we're currently range bound in between this zone here. I do believe that it's just a short-term range. As I said from yesterday, if we did draw this point here, which is the top of the descending triangle to the bottom, and then we also place it down here, we can see that this is a perfect touch point here for it as well. So right now it's currently range bound. Long-term target for BTC, I still do believe that we're heading down to that $17,000 range. Macro wise in the economy, we're not looking great still. So the CPI numbers that did come out during the week aren't great, but it will take some time, but we'll eventually get down to that $17,000 zone and hopefully hold from there. As I said, this pattern here is a descending triangle, but it also has a bear flag as well, because this was a pretty steep draw up. So we can expect to come back to that $17,000 zone as a long term. But do also take precautions if you decide to trade this as well, that we may also come back up to retest this point here and go straight through. But in my opinion, I do not think that's going to happen. So that's just a quick look at BTC. Nothing much on that one, other than it is pretty much going to be reversing and going on down. But we'll have a look at the 4 hourly as well. 4 hourly MACD shows that it's very oversold and it's looking to reverse as well. But as I said, you don't really trade based on the MACDs. Only you also try to look at the indicators as well too, in where the support and resistance lines are, and just using the MACDs is just more based on seeing, I guess, just to confirm. Looking at the daily, we can also see that it's reversing as well. So that's another sign that we are looking bearish for BTC and possibly hitting that $17,000 range and mark. And if it does, we better hope that we bounce from here and continue back up. So that's just for BTC at the moment. Looking at ETH, I've been trading this one, been shorting it since we have been in this $1,600 range. So with BTC on the hourly, we can see at the moment it has broken down. So just let me make this bigger. So I've drawn 2 different bear flags. So this bear flag here is the major one, but right now we also have a minor one happening at the moment that I did start spotting last night. So looking at the small time frames, such as your 5-minute or your 15-minute, we can see that it broke down and it started forming a bit of a range. And in my opinion, the next target zone will pretty much still be at that $1,400 range. I do believe it's going to happen probably in the next few hours or so, but it's not guaranteed. Most likely looking to happen, because if you're looking at the small time frames, such as the 5-minute, 15-minute, they pretty much have bounced back. The MACD shows that it has pretty much bounced back, so it can also fall further. But if you're looking at the bigger time frames, of course, it's going to take time to get there. One thing to keep note as well too, if we do actually come back down to retest this point here, I've drawn on a bigger time frame, probably better seen on the 12 hourly. Bit of a head and shoulders starting to form. So looking here, we can see that this is the bottom of the head and shoulders. So the left shoulder has formed. This is the neckline here. We can see from the neckline, we have formed a new head up top. And when we came back down to retest, okay, it has formed that neckline there. And then we have bounced back up to form the right shoulder, got rejected as a confirmation anyway from this downwards trend line. And then from there, we have formed that right shoulder, got rejected, came back down, and roughly sitting here at the moment. So if I was to draw a horizontal line, we would see that this is the neckline here currently. Yes, we can also take that this point here is also the neckline, so we've broken through. So we may have a bounce at that $1,380, $1,400 mark. Bounce back up, consolidate range for a bit, and then from then on, we should be making our move down to the $1,100 range for for ETH. So in short, this is what it could be looking like. Anyway, let me just find the right tools. So we're broken down, range bound, touching. So we're currently here, touch, and I reckon we will come back up and retrace somewhere. We won't be probably at the top of the neck of the line, so probably come back up to that $1,500 range, retest before we come back down to the $1,100 range. So I'm just going to change the colors here so we can also keep an eye on it as well. So that's just that for ETH at the moment. So not looking great. I mean, everyone started speculating, after the ETH merge that, the price is going to start moving up. But I mean, the charts tell another story, of course. Having a look at BNB. So Binance has been working pretty well so far. I mean, it has, as I said from yesterday, it has come back down to touch this support zone. In my opinion, it's going to come back up and retest this now new trend line that's starting to form anyway. So it's going to start retesting. That point, probably most likely get rejected. As we can see on the hourly, the MACD is starting to reverse. And once it starts breaking down, because BTC is going to break down as well, it's going to drag the rest of the market with it. Having a look at ADA, nothing really happening much here on ADA. I mean, I wish to say, it's profitable trading range, but it's just very dependent on BTC at the moment. I mean, the last line of defense would be at that 40 cent mark, as I have mentioned, and if we do break that and lose that support line, let's see if I also have a look back in history. I would say the next safe bet would be pretty much the next support here would be about 18 cents, to be honest, and that's somewhere we don't really want to go, because when we do decide to actually break back up and move, a lot of these zones here will be heavy resistance. So yeah, just keeping an eye on that one. Hopefully that just trades range bound, and nothing too much happens on it for that. Having a look at XRP, same thing here, a bit worrisome at the moment with XRP because it's coming down to retest this previous support line here, and if that does break, we're going to be looking at support to be at that 25 cent range. Just looking here anyway, because yeah, I mean, there's a lot of touch points there, so it's safe to say that the next support zone will be at that 20 cent range for XRP. At the moment, it's getting closer to the trend line, and yeah, see what happens there. Hopefully it does hit and move on up, but if it does get rejected, be prepared for probably about a 20 cent XRP. With Solana, same thing as well. So all these altcoins at the moment that are looking like this and just range bound are retesting its support line. So it looks like it's going to be coming back and retest probably that $28 range. And hopefully that holds, because yes, if it doesn't hold, the next support range will be about, no one wants to say it, but looking back in history, if I was to draw a horizontal line, we can see that the next support line would be here, which is about that $15 range. It'll be a nice short, 50% there, downside, depending on where you actually take it. But yes, that's just Solana at the moment. So hopefully that doesn't break, but if it does, we're looking at $15 Solana. Looking at Matic on a small time frame from yesterday, when we drew this Kobo, it's coming down to the 79-80 cent range. So it's about to touch there, and then from there on, hopefully it does bounce. And if it does bounce, we're most likely looking, so let me just find the right tools again. So if it does bounce, so it's already broken down, range bound, and if it does bounce, hopefully it does get rejected from this double bottom, from that double bottom. But if it doesn't, the next, just a bigger time frame. So if it doesn't hold, the next support zone here would be that point there, which is about that 67.5 cent range. So that's just something to keep an eye on for Matic. Having a look at Chainlink, just range bound. The dump hasn't really affected it much, to be honest, which is great to see. So Chainlink is holding pretty well by itself. Nothing much to really say about Chainlink. It's just trading sideways. So you can tell there's not been much of a sell-off for a trader. Probably not best to trade Chainlink. But yeah, as a possible buy for the long term, yes, it would be great. because it's actually, as I said from the past, it's testing these lows at the moment. But yes, if it does break through that, which anything can happen, we're going to be looking at $4 Chainlink or 4.6. So if I was to draw a horizontal line from there, that would be a level of support for Chainlink as well. And we can see that we've come here to retest it already in the past. Looking at NIA, doing all right. So as I said, most likely we'll be coming down to retest this zone now, which is more likely given that BTC is looking to break down. So at that point there, if that holds, great. You know what I mean? We'll come back down, probably go back up and retest this 6.866 area. But if we do break through that, the next level of support would be at 2.362. Do not want that to happen at all. But just also something to keep an eye on. So it's more about just managing your risk than anything else. Having a look at VeChain, trading on sideways, nothing really exciting happening there at the moment. So yeah, nothing much to say about that one. It does look like it's bottomed, but as I said, still it can come back down and retest this 1.9 cent range, and then probably do a double bottom from there, because as we can see here already, that's 1 point bounce, and hopefully come back here and then continue on up to the next point there. All right, so that's what we want for VeChain anyway, and if that happens, we can see that it will be actually retesting this longer term downtrend. And if we break that, then we're going to move on up. Having a look at HAPI, broken through support. So just make this bigger, more readable. Oops. Okay, so right now it's just retesting these lows here. This is now going to become resistance here, as we can see. So two things may happen. We may have HAPI. So this is a double bottom I'm talking about. Come down and bounce on up, retest this zone here, get rejected, and then continue on up. Scenario 1. Scenario 2, which is most likely to happen in my opinion, with HAPI, would be to do it with coming back down to retest this zone here. So I'll change that to another color. So since we're here, what may happen is we range sideways and then come back down to retest this $7 mark, which is what we want. And then from there, hopefully we bounce back up to retest this $8 range. So I'll change that one to a different color as well, so we can keep an eye on as well. So that's going to be in yellow. So those are the two scenarios that may happen with HAPI if we are looking to buy. Having a look at the Bitcoin dominance, still holding up well. As I said, Bitcoin dominance is not something you want to look at all the time. It just tells you, I guess, where all the value is going with BTC. But yeah, given that BTC is dropping at the moment, a lot more people will be seeing that BTC is a safer store of value. And lastly, having a look at the DXY. So looking at DXY, I can clearly tell that it has broken up from this, I guess you could say bull flag with an ascending triangle. So if I was to just draw that again, bouncing in between, and then now finally broken up. Target zone possibly will be with the pole of the flag. So if we were to draw that, there's two possible ranges at the moment. So one range would be from here to here. We'll take that, put it at the top of the breakout zone. So we're looking at the DXY of coming up to that 112 range, in my opinion, most likely, but then that will be meaning that it's also within the channel still. Second likely scenario of another target zone for the DXY will be taking from this bottom to that top there, because that's where it has started forming a trend. And the next level for DXY, we change the colors of this to red, okay, would be about the 110.498 mark, which means that, yeah, possibly coming up and still forming or being a part of this rising wedge that we have also happening here as well. So, I mean, yeah, we don't know what's going to really happen, but only time can tell with that one. But that's all we have time for today. Yeah, I mean, I won't be recording much on the weekend, but if you guys have anything else you want me to look at, please let me know. Catch you guys in. Anyway, my name is Rich, and you've been watching Rich in Blockchain. I'll catch you again soon for the next episode. Please remember to like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a good one.